All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the other side beta test. So shout out to the developers. They may be joining us. This is a brand new game, Phasmo-like. It is in beta, so there are some bugs. Okay, so when you enter, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, it's kind of like your command post at base. Here's what I like about it is you have a tablet where you can actually customize your base. You have a home base, mobile base, and then team info. There is going to be a multiplayer function in this game. You can go to a modification garage, and this is like your mobile base. So think of Phasmo like the van when you're going out into the field. That's something I already like about this game is you can customize your mobile base. So eventually I think you're going to be able to change the pickup truck to something else. You can change the paint job. So for instance, if I go into mobile base, and the devs have been kind enough to give me $10 billion or whatever this is, you can go in and you can customize the paint job. Eventually you'll be able to get bigger vehicles like these you see here. So it's a 3-person team. The game's been in development for over 3 years. There's all sorts of contracts here. So let's actually go look at this one. A cleanse contract on 12 Ravenwood Lane. And then what I like about this is there's like a mobile computer interface here. So you can go to the browser to like buy stuff like you're on Amazon or something. So the items cost, you know, in US dollars, actual money. Again, I have like $10 billion, so I'm fine. So let's buy one of everything, but you can open it up and look at the description. It talks about warranty, return policy, ship. There's like a lot of little Easter eggs in here. So as you can see, it's in beta game right now. So this just says text blocks. Eventually they're going to put some specifications in here. But I like that it gives you pictures of the object. It has reviews. It looks like a real website. So it's really cool stuff. So a new thing they added that's different than Phas is this is called a Geiger counter, which measures radiation levels of the ghost, right? And I'll take you guys through the tutorial so you can kind of see how to play. They have something that's kind of similar to the sanity pills. It's Phantom Calm, RX, XR anxiety medication, generic flashlight. Some things they're working on right now are the lighting, and then they have an ethereal artifact locator. And I have no clue what they're going to do to the sides right here in the future, but a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if these will be active in the future, and you can go to different websites. And then you can look at your inventory. So here's everything we have. Here's what the multiplayer mode looks like. Create, find. Right now, if I go to find, as you can see, there's nobody active right now. Contracts. So here's all the different contracts. The only one active right now, they said, is a cleanse contract, which says study the ghost's behavior, pinpoint its favorite room, and strategically deploy the spectral affixer to neutralize spectral anomalies. As you can see, there's different contracts coming: survive the night, identify, etc. All right, so let's go through the training real quick. They have a full instruction mode where it literally goes line by line. You can't escape it, and it tells you exactly what to do for each thing. And I kind of like that. I do. And then they have a no instruction mode, which is where you can go up to the table, get what info you want, and just move along.
Welcome to your instructional tour of the cleanse contract.
All right. So here's the crate.
It's worth noting that the left mouse button is used primarily to interact with objects in the world. Inside the crate, you'll find a variety of different equipment that is used to help in your journey of identifying the ghost characteristics and favorite room. To close the crate, you can press the escape key.
So literally dummy proof. It tells you exactly what to do.
It's time to talk about the spectral affixer crate. In its deployed state, this item is the key component in cleansing the contract location, but we'll get more into that a bit later. This item is heavy and requires both hands to carry.
All right, here's the spectral affixer crate.
Normally the affixer is fully charged before starting a contract. However, the one you have now needs a bit more juice. With the affixer in your hands, walk up to the charging station and interact with it. The charging progress can be monitored on the LCD screen. The affixer can be removed at any time. However, it's best to wait until it's fully done charging. This is to avoid insufficient battery status. So
first off, I like the graphics. I like how you can literally walk up and read the text. You can see the texture of a lot of the items. Now, this game's also different because you have a cell phone.
Can serve many purposes. The most useful is its flashlight. This can provide a light source while you use your equipment in your other hand. Keep in mind that ghosts are generally attracted to energy emitted by the light. The phone has some applications that can be quite useful, as well as a heart rate monitor. Ghosts feed off anxious hunters, so it's wise to keep your heart rate under control.
So one thing already, you can see the light on and off right there in the monitor. But as you can see, right now the light doesn't really give a ton of light. It's pretty dark. The devs are aware of that and they're fixing it. So you have a heart rate monitor right here, and the ghost feeds off of your heart rate.
Now you should be familiar with your mobile base and cell phone. Next, we'll learn about the characteristics that you'll be searching for. Head over to the evidence sample booth to get started.
All right. So this is where it's different than Phas, chat, right? You can get all sorts of EMF, but there's different descriptions for what each EMF means. So you could get an EMF 4, but one of the ghost evidences isn't an EMF 4. The ghost gives multiple different forms of evidence. It's not like Phas where you have ghost orbs, ghost writing, and fingies, and you know the ghost, right? You have to actually hone in, find the ghost room, and figure out what its two key evidences are. So I'll give you an example. So that's what EMF 1 sounds like, EMF 2, EMF 3, and EMF 4. And you can read on the descriptions here, level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and what they mean. Notice that the EMF readings are not the same as the evidence levels. Anything less than a reading of 2 is considered background EMF. So just because you get EMF doesn't mean it's an evidence. Let's go ahead and leave the EMF here. All right, so level 1, 35, 25.3. And I'm assuming this is Fahrenheit. I don't know if there's a way to change that, like in Phas where you can do Celsius. Yep, and then it goes over the different levels of temperature and what they mean. It's common for the location's ambient temperature to drop over time as the ghost becomes active. Hey DVOT, thanks for the follow. All right, so that is the thermal booth. Let's move over to UV. So you can see the three different levels. And it's not like Phas, right, where you just have the handprint. Like, you have to kind of remember what each level means, right? And then there's a description right here. So faint traces, moderate residues, and easily identifiable patterns, which include handprints, footprints, or other imprints, right? So that is the UV. Let's move over to radiation. Okay, so this is what the Geiger counter will look like. So it's kind of unique because you can kind of memorize the sounds of the different levels, but it also gives you numbers. And here's the number amounts right here and what they mean. So example, graphite emits radiation that stimulates the ghost radiation level. All right, let's move over here. So as you can see, it's not like Phas where the ghost writes random things. You have different levels. So scribbling is 1, and then you have symbolic / enigmas 2, and then you have hostile manifestations. So you have to actually pay attention to what the ghost is writing in the book, right? Let's move over to audio. So here's the different audio samples. So remember, level 1's unintelligible sounds. Level 2 is single word responses. And then level 3 is intelligible phrases. So you see how it said run away? All right, let's move over here. All right, we're going to deploy it. And you press F to deploy.
Using the affixer involves typing commands into its interface. While it may seem daunting at first, it's actually quite simple.
So here's what it looks like when you go in. So you can type help to get help using the device.
When you're finished in the help section, type commands, then press enter. This can be used to understand the various prompts the device can accept. The affixer comes with predicting text to help validate user input in rapid entry.
Okay, so here's the commands. And again, it looks pretty crazy right now, right? There's a lot you can do here. But what you're going to do is go to commands. All right, so we're going to do add audio 3. See what that does. So it's successfully added audio level 3. Remember, audio 3 is intelligible responses. So if we heard that in the house, we can add that in there. Now let's do EMF 3 as well. Oh, see, I didn't hit add. So add EMF 3. And so here, like I said, I think a lot of players when they first come in are going to be extremely confused, especially, let's say you have a bunch of younger players playing, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, whatever. This isn't like computer coding. I've never done computer coding, but it looks like computer coding, and you have to type it in correctly, but it does kind of auto-prompt you on some things. Not much different than kind of how Lethal Company has their computer, and people have figured that out, so I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's unique. I just think it's going to cause some frustration at first. So we've added in 2 different evidences. Let's hit scan now. Another thing, watch this, chat. So do you see how I walked away and it quit spinning? The developers are really smart. They know that a lot of people would probably scan and then run out of the front door. Because what happens if you get the scan wrong, it immediately triggers a hunt. So then you have to hide or you're going to die. So the developers made it to where you have to stand in proximity to this device. Only one player, not all of them. So somebody's going to have to be the sacrifice. And if you get it wrong, hopefully they live. I'll show you what it looks like when the scan's done now.
successful scan, a cleanse contract is mostly complete and you can return to the headquarters if desired.
It's kind of like Phas, where you have like additional objectives, like get the ghost to blow out candle, except for you got to find these ethereal items
Ethereal
or artifacts.
objects that
So
may
this is a
minimize the
cool
examples
feature
on
right
the
here.
table cannot.
So when you turn it on, as you get close, it'll pulse. As you get further away, the pulse will kind of slow down and then stop. And then as you get further, you can kind of see it, the light's dimming. And then eventually, as you get far enough away, the light goes away completely, right?
Great.
Even though the
Now that
device
you
is
are
still on.
familiar with your-
All right, so we've gone through the full tutorial. Now keep in mind, players don't have to sit there and listen to all of it. I just wanted to demonstrate it for you guys because it's your first time seeing this, right? So let's go ahead and go into the house and try to hunt the ghost. Right now, what you're seeing is the ghost moving around the house. I'm using this simply because I want to know where the ghost room is so I can show you how the evidence works, right? So you can see the ghost moving around. Now, obviously, the ghost isn't actually in physical form right now, but it's touching light switches, it's turning things off. Let me show you something really cool. So this is a cool feature they did. So you have a breaker similar to Phas, but what's kind of fun about this is Sivo T was showing me earlier, you can turn off individual rooms. So this room, I believe, is 2017. Yeah, it's 17. And they'll add the list of rooms later, I believe. Right now, it's just says entry room. I know you can't read that. But it's a breaker box similar to Phas, but I like that you can turn off individual lights and control it from the box, right? So now the lights are on. You can turn them on and off. One suggestion I have, and it's up to the devs, but you can't push forward on the door. You have to pull back on it. Right, Ghost turned off the breaker. Oh, Z, I see. Yep, I may have accidentally pressed it. Let me try it again, going into the door to see if that's a bug or if I just press the key. Yeah, I must have just pressed the key. Thank you. So not a dev issue. It's a me issue. Oh, it's a toggle. Gotcha. Okay. So here's like the little closets you can hide in to get away from the ghosts. Let's go ahead and turn on some lights. And each area is going to have a themed ghost. So this is a birthday party. I'm not going to spoil the surprise because I want you guys to see it live. But there's a really creepy ghost for each area that you're going to see. All right. All right, so we got that down. All right, I wonder if the EMF is only when you're around the ghost. Let's see that. All right, ghost is turning off some lights. I have no clue what that sound is. Oh, it turned on the TV. Okay. I feel like the hands look even more realistic than Phas, so that's a start. I do like the realism of this game. All right, let's see. The ghost seems to be hanging out in here quite a lot. It's just standing there menacingly. No, leave it on. All right, I'm going to say this is the ghost room. Let's see. And right now, there's no function for talking into the mic. I think the ghost will just...
No, don't come to it.
Okay. So we have an intelligible response there. So that's a audio level 3, I believe. And the ghost is very active at turning off lights. Like, literally just turned off the light. Nope. That was the breaker. Was it the breaker? No. There we go. Okay. Why does it keep turning off the same light? Oh, another cool feature is... Let me show you this. So I have the spirit box on. You hear it's still on, though, even though it's on my belt. Right? So you can have evidence on... Oh, look at that. EMF 4, and it just broke a light. That's the first time I've seen that interaction. That's pretty cool. All right, so I think we have enough to actually guess the ghost now. That's the first time I've ever seen a interaction. So it busted a light. Also, things I found out while playing earlier. The ghost can move chairs, so if you're looping this ghost, it can just move a chair out to stop you, which I like. It brings a little bit more strategy versus just running around a table. So let's do add, and that was audio 3. And let's do add, and it was EMF 4. Okay, now we're going to scan. So we have 2 of the evidences. Okay, so this is what happens when you get it wrong. And at this point, this would make the ghost hunt. You've completed a task. So keep in mind, you can look at your task here. So let's make sure we're gathering all our ethereal artifacts. Ooh, testing my vocabulary today. And you don't have to take the machine outside, I believe. You can just leave it. So that's another cool feature. And so then you stand on this to exit, and it'll take you back home. All right, so that was the training mission.